We've got a small matter of a London derby tomorrow, 3 o'clock kickoff. This fixture doesn't even get prime time anymore, which is crazy, isn't it? 3 p.m. on a Saturday. Tottenham against West Ham. Madness.
No, not even on TV. And it's a big game. Like, I don't know why they haven't picked this for TV, but it's what it is. 3 p.m.
Yeah. It's crazy. But look, Thomas Frank did the press conference yesterday. What is the team news going into this one?
Yeah, so fairly positive team news when it comes to Bergvall. He is fighting to be fit, which is really good news. There was fears, wasn't there, that he might be out for a while after aggravating that groin injury, but it seems as though he's okay. Sarr, obviously missing out. He's still at the AFCON. The bad news, though, Richarlison is going to be out for at least 7 weeks, says Thomas Frank, which is a massive blow to him with the hamstring injury. Kudus, we know, is out till April. Bentancur, we know, is out for 3 months. Kulusevski is out for the long term. We know he's a few weeks away from even potentially touching grass. Maddison, we haven't really heard about any updates about him, but I'm assuming he's going to be out for the foreseeable as well. But at least Solanke, Udogie, he said they're fighting to get more minutes, so they're both available and in the squad. And yeah, so we'll see how if they start tomorrow or not.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into it. An interesting predicted lineup today because we've got a potential debutant with Conor Gallagher. Still waiting for the Sousa announcement. Not sure what's going on with that, but we're going for a 4-2-3-1, I'm guessing, as per usual.
Yeah.
And as per usual, in goal, Guillermo Vicario.
Yep, I think he's going to get the nod. No suggestion. They're thinking about Kinski. In fact, Kinski is getting frustrated. Do you reckon part of the frustration with Kinski is the fact he sees mistakes by Vicario? He's like, why aren't I getting a go?
Yeah, I think that's a potential of it. Look, we have heard there has been suggestions. I think it was from O'Keefe or Gold or one of them, or maybe it was someone else. I can't remember. But they said, Kinski's development hasn't gone according to plan, and a big part of that may be, not enough game time for Anthony and Kinski. Obviously, he got a large stretch of games last season, but even in some of the cup games, Vicario's been favoured for. So there must be a belief behind the scenes that he's just not good enough just yet.
Yeah, clearly there is. Otherwise, if they really felt he was ready, I think he would have gotten a goal already this season. Because I think Vicario's form has been droppable, if we're being honest at times. I know he has saved us, don't get me wrong. But there are definitely times where if there was... Like with Arteta, when he signed Raya, but Ramsdale started the season, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he made some mistakes, but... he wasn't like dreadful, but he wasn't good enough to keep his spot, and he came out. And I think if we had a better keeper, I think they would have gotten a go by now with some of Vicario's mistakes. So the fact that he hasn't, I think he doesn't believe in Kinski right now.
Yeah, that's the reality. So Vicario in goal, right back, Pedro Porro.
I think so, unless we're thinking, is there any chance Udogie starts? Because if there is, does Spence go off the right? If there's a chance of that.
I think Udogie starts in the Champions League game
on Wednesday. Tuesday. Okay. So we're going to keep Spence. Or does Davis keep his place?
I wouldn't be against it, to be honest, because I think he's played 2 games and he's been brilliant. He's been good. I wouldn't say brilliant. He's been good in both those games.
I think it kind of gives us a bit more balance. The only thing is he doesn't really support the attack that well. I
thought against... who was the first game he played?
Sunderland?
Was it Sunderland? Yeah, I thought, he supported the attack decent in that game. Obviously scored as well. Had an effort saved. And, I thought he was linking up really well with Tell on that side.
I think he actually helps us a bit in possession, like in terms of progressing the ball. But when we get to the final third, he doesn't overlap. He doesn't really get there. He doesn't get in those positions like Spence does. So it's about what do we value more? Do we value more, but because I feel like he's actually in deep build-up a bit better. He offers a bit more balance being on the left. But when we get into that position, he doesn't have the pace, I guess, to get in there, get in overlap.
Get to the byline. He doesn't get to the byline, yeah.
And also,
but he does those crosses from deep, though.
Yeah, but he doesn't really because what you want is a fullback overlapping to draw a defender so the winger has a bit more space.
Yeah.
Whereas Davis doesn't really do that. So it's about what's more valuable in this game. Is it about more build-up, or is it about what do you value getting into the final third? I'm guessing he's going to go for Spence.
Yeah, he will go for Spence, in my opinion.
I wouldn't mind seeing Davis again. Just yeah,
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's absolutely mad. We're sitting here in 2026 and we're saying wouldn't mind seeing Davis play. And that's the reality. He's been good, man. You can't knock him. You can't knock him for what he's done so far in the last couple of games. So a big up to Ben Davis. But yeah, I think we're going to go for Jed Spence. Back two, I think that's pretty simple. Cuti Romero and Mickey van der Ven.
I think in our mind it's simple, but if you actually think about Frank's words after the Villa game, he actually earmarked Van der Ven as someone who he was thinking about maybe resting, but because, you know, Romero got banned and whatever, he played him. So does he get a rest maybe either win this game or maybe the wet game on Tuesday potentially? Because he's saying he was in his thoughts because he's been playing a lot.
If he's going to rest Mickey, I'd prefer him to do it in this game than on Tuesday. I think Tuesday's a bigger game. Obviously, this game is a very big game as well.
Is it a bigger game?
I think so.
If you'd rather lose one, it would be this one or Tuesday.
Well, the way I don't look at it like that. I look at if you ask me which one I'd prefer to win, probably Tuesday.
Really?
Yeah.
I think this one. I care more about right now because I think top 8, even if we win both games.
Look, you might, yeah.
So we need to be climbing this table. That's the most important thing because we're going to probably be in that playoff anyway, even if we win. We might do, even if we win both games.
Why? If we win, there's a good chance of us finishing in the top 8.
It's a good chance. It's not 100% though, is it?
No.
So even if so that's my point. If we win, we're going to climb the table a bit.
Yeah.
And if we win again, we'll climb the table. So I think winning those 2 games against West Ham and Burnley are more important right now than these Champions League games because we're going to be in that playoff, I think. That's probably the reality.
Oh, wait. That's a good point. Mickey's suspended for Tuesday.
Mickey suspended for Tuesday. Oh, so he has to play this game. All right.
Thank you, chat.
There you go.
Thank you, chat. Yeah, that's a really good point. I completely forgot about that. So that just kills that conversation dead. So the back four, we're going to go for Porro, Romero, Mickey van der Ven, and Jed Spence. Moving on to the midfield now. The interesting conversation of the midfield. First of all, do we believe the Paulinho rumours or not? Because that's the main talking point.
The thing
here.
is, for me, I whether I believe him or not, I wouldn't have started him anyway, in my opinion, in this game. But I don't know whether Frank would have. Maybe Frank would have.
I think Frank would have.
It was interesting. I heard him in his press conference. And he was talking about. So he was asked a question about will Gallagher coming in limit Bergvall and Gray. He said, "Well, you know, Bentancur's gotten injured. We've brought in Gallagher. He's kind of a replacement for Bentancur. And while Bentancur was fit, Gray and Bergvall still played a lot. So I don't see a problem there. So if that's what he's thinking, then I think it will be Gallagher and Gray.
But also, what he's saying doesn't really make that much sense because it coincided with Pape going to the AFCON. Bergvall got that injury as well. You know, we've been really limited. Bissouma wasn't in the squad either. So, I mean, we've got many more options. It's not just a simple case of Bentancur or Gallagher, is it?
Yeah, but Sarr was also available. But his point was being...
Since we've persisted with Bentancur and Gray, I don't think Sarr's been available, has he?
I think he has. When did it first... I can't remember when we first played them, but I think he's been on the bench for a bit before going to the AFCON.
Yeah, he has been on the bench, but I think we've been mixing and matching the middle pairing up until a certain point. Then there was a certain point where he's like, all right, Gray and Bentancur are my middle two. I'm pretty sure that coincided with Sarr going to the AFCON. I might be wrong.
Anyway, regardless of that, I think he goes... If reports are to be believed, he was thinking about dropping Xavi for this game. I don't know if that's true. And then he was thinking about... I'm guessing that would have meant Gallagher in the 10, if that's the case.
I think it's absolutely nuts to drop Xavi for this game. I think that's crazy talk. Mm-hmm. I really do. And if that was a serious conversation and that was a real reality, then I don't know what he's thinking. Like, you'd need Xavi in a game like this. You have to have Xavi.
I think maybe, I think someone's right. Rest Paulinho for Tuesday. I don't know about resting him because I think this is a very important game, but I think in this game it's more important to have some real forward-thinking players in the middle rather than Paulinho.
Well, look, let's put it this way. Give Connor his first start in the 8. I think Connor comes in one of the double pivots, so good to see number 22 in the middle of the park, and he'll go alongside Archie Gray.
That's what I think. Gray and Gallagher in the middle. Yeah, but also whether obviously Bergval's also an option.
Yeah,
because
I
it
think
looks like he's going to be in the squad.
Yeah, I think he'll be an option off the bench. In the 10, like we mentioned before, go for Javi Simmons.
Oh. Yep, Javi in the 10.
So I like that midfield. Gallagher, Gray, Simmons, all forward-thinking players. That's what I like.
Indeed. And also, I think what I like about Gallagher is you don't lose physicality with him in that middle as well, because he's such a aggressive player. The only thing I do worry about is positional discipline a bit. Is he going to go wandering? Is he going to, because he's going to be the senior player next to Gray there, he's going to have a bit more responsibility. I know Gray is a bit more of the defensive player, but you can't really trust him. Can you trust Gray to hold down the fort and Gallagher go wandering, if you know what I mean? That's the thing.
Maybe in not most games in the Premier League you can't play this double pivot, but against this West Ham side, I don't doubt that they can do the job.
Yeah, I think it should have enough defensive solidity to dominate West Ham, and also I hope Gallagher gets forward and supports Xavi.
Who are West Ham even going to have in the middle? Souček?
They have that. They've got an African player in there. I can't remember his name. Yeah, obviously Ward-Prowse ain't fancied. Potts, they got Freddie Potts, don't they? Look, they should be scared, that's for sure. We should be going all out at them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd even be interested if Bergval was fit to go Bergval on it, see what that does. But I don't think it's maybe a bit too chaotic for his debut.
Yeah. So that's the middle three. In the forward line, Odegaard on the right?
Odegaard on the right. He scored against Villa. Should be retaining his place. Although Bergval obviously played on the right against Bournemouth in that game, but I don't think, unless Solanke's ready to start and it goes Moani on the right. But
I don't think Solanke's going to start.
I don't think there's any. There's no reason to take Odegaard out anyway. He played, scored a goal, played quite well.
Yeah, for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Odegaard on the right, Matty Tell on the left. I think Matisse is our most in-form attacking player. When you're looking at how he's affecting games right now, I think it's brilliant. So he has to persist with Matisse.
I completely agree. I think Tell, he's playing really well at the moment. I've been really happy at the last few games, how he's getting up to speed, and he's looking more confident than he's ever looked. He's trying things. He's actually being hard to deal with. He's not being easy for fullbacks now. He's taking them on and getting joy, and he's getting shots off as well. So I'm really liking him. And I think his link up with Xavi's been good. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing at the moment.
And then to complete the 11, I think it's going to be Randall Kolo Muani up top, just because of limited options. And I was thinking about this, like when we saw this update saying, it's potentially Xavi on the bench or Xavi, now he's said, I think the update was Xavi's back in and maybe Xavi can play on the left. Like, could it have been Matisse Tell up front instead of...
Could have been.
If he was going to go for Xavi on the left, Matisse up front.
You can't drop Tell at the moment. So, for me, if he was going to do that, then I would probably rather right now put Tell up front and then on Muani on the bench, just because he deserves the shot right now, and I think he's playing better. Albeit, I think Muani's probably a better option up front than Tell. But I think sometimes a player's in a bit of good momentum, you just got to keep playing him. You can't be leaving him on the bench right now. So I think another option is maybe Scarlett, but he hasn't seemed to want to give him opportunities. Some fans suggested maybe should be given a go in this game, given Muani's lack of form.
Brought him on in a big moment though last game, didn't he?
Brought him on, played right wing though, didn't he?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Played him right wing. Didn't understand that.
But it was a big moment in the game, and he actually, went to him.
He did, but I guess it was more due to the lack of options rather than trusting Scarlett, maybe. But he did bring him on. He did do it, but he didn't play him up front, which was very odd.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Solanke maybe a bit longer this time, maybe half an hour on the pitch, and then hopefully after that he can start starting games. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, so this is the predicted lineup we're going for. Vicario in goal. Porro, Romero, Van de Ven and Jed Spence across the back four. Conor Gallagher making his debut against West Ham. Archie Gray and Xavi Simmons in the midfield. Matisse Tell on the left. Wilson Odegaard on the right. And Randall Kolo Muani up top. If this is the lineup, what is your score prediction?
I am going to go 2-0 to Spurs. 2-0. I think we're going to win. I think it's going to be, I think we'll go 1-0 up. It's going to be really awkward. And I think it's, West Ham are going to have a period when they're on top and we're going to keep them out. And then we're going to hit them with a sucker punch with like 20 minutes to go, make it 2. And then West Ham are going to drop their heads. They're going to look dejected and we're going to go and win the game.
Yeah, I agree. I think I said 2-0 in my Prem prediction as well. I think it could be a bit nervy for the first half, but I think once everyone settles in the game, maybe we'll get a goal just before half-time or something, and then polish them off at the beginning of the second half, and then we'll just ride it out for the rest of the game. So it's imperative that we win this game, and the reality is that whenever Spurs fans come into a game confident and expecting a win, it usually goes the opposite direction, but Dr. Tottenham's got to just fuck off, basically. So, yeah, I'm going 2-0. Sim's going 2-0.